Good morning. We're starting a new mimer in Torah Ohr, page Nun Hey, first paragraph, Pashas Va'era. Before I start, I just want to be Makir Toiv and thank the video coordinators of Avi, Boaz, and Shaiki, who's in 6th grade. Alatera wakes up every morning with his father or 4 times a week, wakes up early to make sure that this shir is streamed. So we want to give him a very big thank you for that. Okay, Parshas Va'era. The pasuk starts off, Va'era el Avraham el Yitzchak vel Yaakov bekel shakai ushmi havaya lo nadaiti lahem. In last week's Parsha Shmois, Moshe Rabbeinu comes to the Eibishter with tremendous kindness. Why did you do bad? Why are you mistreating the Bnei Yisrael? And in our Parsha Va'era, Hashem starts off telling Avraham, Va'era el Avram. He says, listen, I appeared to Avram, El Yitzchak, and to Yitzchak and Yaakov with the name of Shakai. However, Shmi Havaya lo nadaiti lahem. The name of Havaya I did not make known to them. Hine Va'era yishpeish pirushim. Va'era has 2 explanations. Aleph, Lashon Avar, either an expression of the past tense, Shin is Galala Avis, that Hashem revealed himself to the Avis. So either Va'era means, and I appeared, or Va'abei is Lashon Osid, I will appear. Shu Lashon Hoive, which is a expression of constant. So Va'era means either can mean I appeared, or Va'era means I will appear. Now the shaila is, what does it mean I will appear to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov? How does that work? So the Alter Rebbe is going to explain that every single yid has the level of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov in him. Every time and every person has the levels of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Behold, ain't kain ovis el l'shleisha. The Gemara says in Brachas that when we say ovis, it means the patriarchs. It means only 3. What does that mean? The level of ovis by a person is a inheritance to the children in every generation. Every single person according to his level. That's why we say, the God of our father, or fathers, Avram, the God of Avram. However, the other advantages of the other tzaddikim, for example, the Shvatim, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, for example, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, every Jew possesses by inheritance these 3 levels. But the levels of, for example, Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, for sure they're very high levels. Some people will never experience or will not have or possess the levels of Reuven, Shimon, or Levi. However, when it comes to the Avis, every single person possesses and has these levels, which is the source of all the neshamis of a yid. To understand what does it mean, this inheritance? What does it mean, this revelation that every single yid has? Golos is compared to a pregnancy. And when Mashiach comes, which will be speedily in our days, Nimshal Aleida is compared to giving birth. As the pasuk in Yeshaya says, Ki chala gam yolda tzines bano, and the children of Zion gave birth. So we see, and Yeshaya is speaking about the coming of Mashiach. So we see that the coming of Mashiach is compared to the time of giving birth. Golos is compared to pregnancy, and giving birth is when Mashiach comes. It's like the revelation of Mashiach. When the Yidden, God forbid, are in Saras. Ksiv, what does the pasuk in Yeshaya say? Kivo umayim, kivo banim. Ad mashber, that the children come to like the birthing stool. When a woman gives birth, she sits on a stool called mashber. So the children come to this birthing stool. However, v'koyach ayin, later they don't have any strength to give birth. So too, the days of Mashiach are called Chevle Leda, the birth pangs of giving birth. It says, that the pangs of giving birth will come to you. We find as well that not only we're saying that Golos is pregnancy, and giving birth is Yemayis HaMashiach, but in Geulas Mitzrayim is also compared to a childbirth on the day that the child is born. When Shekasa, like the pasuk in Yecheskel says, that on the day that you were born, we were not able to cut the umbilical cord. Oh, so he's going to explain. To understand, what does this mean? The day you were born, you weren't able to cut the umbilical cord. What does it mean? Bechlal ibur. What does it mean? Leida. So he says, to understand these parables, we have to understand the concept of pregnancy. The Gemara and this says, Rabbi Samlai darshins to what is a fetus compared to in the stomach of the mother, the pinkis mekupol, to a folded notebook. Roishai bein birkov, the head of the child is between its knees. Vikvesov al akvesov, and the knees of the fetus of the child is on its shoulders. And it eats what the mother eats. Opif sasum, and the mouth is closed with tabure pasuach, and it's like its belly button is open. And when the child comes into the world, niftach hasasum, so that which was concealed is open. V'nistam, and that which was concealed, v'nistam hapasuach, and that which was open is concealed. Tahainu, what does that mean? That the fetus has all the limbs possible. It has a head, it has an eyes, it has ears and eyes. However, the head is folded between its knees, which means that the functions of the body are not used at all when the child is in the mother's womb. It can't think and it can't think and it can't contemplate. It has eyes but it can't see. It has ears but it can't hear. Also the food that it eats, even though it eats what the mother eats, the food does not come through the mouth. It goes through the umbilical cord, through the stomach, and then it goes into the intestines, and lahag de laguf, to grow the masses of the body. Like we see clearly, that when the child is 9 months old, the body grows. But since the food does not go through the mouth, what happens? When a person eats, it goes into the mouth. The food then goes into the heart, and that gives vitality, gives chayas to the body and to the mayach. So the child in the mother's womb does not have that maila of having the food go into the mouth, which then goes into the mayach and the leiv. The limbs that breathe, so even though this child, when it comes, it's in the mother's womb, it has the limbs to breathe and become makom. It doesn't have the breath of life. until it actually goes into the world. Then the child starts to cry. Like the Chazal say, what is the sign that the child is born? The Shami Lavlad Tzovitz, that you hear the child crying. Because that's when the child emerges, his body is his head from the mother's womb. Therefore, it does not send chayis to the limbs of the breathing. So when the child is in the mother's womb, from the umbilical cord gives chayis to the mazon. That's where the digestive system is. That's where the internal organs of eating is, which is the limbs to eat. However, when it comes to the head of the Ivari Neshima, that is not used at all. Not only is it not used, but it's like dead. Therefore, that's why the head is placed between the knees, because the body really has no chayis. The Ivarim have no chayis. So now that we understand how it works physically, that when the child is in the mother's womb and is there for 9 months, it really, all the Evarim, all the chayis that it has, is not really ineffective. So he says the same thing, Be'ez HaGolos. It says in Yirmiyah, Hashem imorim yishak. Hashem from on high. Yishak, he roars. Peter shores at me. Like the Zayar says, the Salah Kuchabrichu Le'ela, that Hashem removes himself Le'ela above there. And it says in Yirmiyah, Rachel mevakal banel, that Rachel cries on her children, Ke'enenu, that they're not there. Pirish B'Zayar, the Koyal HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what is Ke'enenu? So the Zayar says, that refers to Hashem, Ke'enenu B'Goy B'Naha, that he's not found between his children, his sons, because he is away. The Salik says he removed himself. That he removed himself from this world. And it looks like the world is by itself, that has no leadership whatsoever. And the hearts of the nation is very, very fat. And the eyes don't really pay attention. The eyes see, but they don't. The eyes are there, but they don't see. What don't they see? Hashem, the light of Hashem. They don't see this idea that Hashem is everywhere. That's the time of Golus. And even the hashpa from my mitzvahs and good deeds that a person does, which we know, shehimoz and lenefesh, which they are the sustenance. They are the food for the soul. It doesn't go in a way of through breathing. To give chayis to the heart and to the brain, laman das Hashem, to know that there's Hashem, and to love Him, and to serve Hashem with all your heart, with a complete soul and a nefesh and a desirable soul to feel. Like a burning fire and a thirst. But rather, what is the way that a person serves Hashem in the time of Golos? So the pasuk in Yeshaya says, "Vayetihi." Mitzvahs becomes like anashim ulamada, like very robotic. The hainu b'vchinas asiya gashmis b'vad. This is because in Golos it's only the level of actually doing, and ubekridos, everything that we do is very cold. And the main fundamental idea of Golos, Beruchnius, is when a person does his avodah, but it's in a way of in a way of done on mitzvahs anashim ulumada. It's very robotic. A person just does it because there's no feeling, there's no heart, there's no contemplation. He's like a robot. He just does it because he has to do it, and it's also bekridus. It's very, very cold. What's the ultimate? Yeah. Okay, the ultimate completion of the days of Mashiach, this, like we explained, that what's Mashiach? It's the idea of giving birth. Is the revelation of the Ohr Havaya to a person, but it's like close to the person, and it's deep by the person. Like it says in Yeshaya, "V'nigle kved Hashem," that the honor of Hashem is going to be revealed. Now, what's going to happen? V'ro kol basar, and every flesh will see. And it says also in Yeshaya, "Ke'ayin ba'ayin yidu," that every eye will see. Now, this is dependent on our avodah, through arousing the hidden love that every single person has in his heart, until he has that desire and that yearn. And to have the Avas Hashem in a revealed way. We're holding, the line starts with Zo. Sorry, V'zeu Shema. V'zeu Shema. Sorry, the line starts with Izgalas. V'zeu Shema. So he says, V'zeu Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, and this is what we say every day in davening. Hear, O Israel, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem is our God, and Hashem is Echad. We don't say Hashem is Yochid, rather we say Hashem is Echad, He's one. So what's the difference between Echad and Yochid? So Echad means that he's one, but one to others. Yochid means it's only him. So why don't we say that Hashem is Yochid? So it goes on, the Alter Rebbe explains, we have to understand the word Echad, which seemingly does not show on the ultimate perfection and the ultimate oneness. That Hashem is by himself. That Hashem is by himself and there's nothing beside him. The word Echad, one, does not show on this. For example, you take Reuven and Shimon. So Reuven is number one and Shimon is number two. But Reuven and Shimon have a shaykhus one to another. He says like this. Yaakov had Yud B'Shvatim, Reuven Echad. Reuven is called Echad. However, Yitzchak, what do we call him? Bincha, we call him your son, Yechidcha, your only son. So asks the Alter Rebbe the famous question, why don't we say Hashem Yochid? So he says, when we speak about the essence of Hashem, Atzmus, then you can't say that Hashem is Echad. Because he is one, he's alone. Rather, it's like what Razal say, Shu Echad. What does it mean he's Echad? So he say, Echad is an acronym of Aleph, is spelled Aleph, Ches, Daled. So he's one, Hashem is one. Ches refers to B'Shiva Dekiyim Uba Aretz, the seven heavens and the earth. And the Daled refers to the Daled Ruchas Ha'elam, the four corners of the world. What does this mean to say? That also in the heavens and the earth and the four corners of the world, Shehem, which they are the six corners of the world. That there's a division over there. Nevertheless, the Achdus of Hashem is still there. And they all are one. So Shekulim B'Telim, that they're all batal. They're all batal to Hashem. It says, that all the hosts in the heaven are what? Mishtachavim, bow down. V'heim, let's turn over the page. 110, V'heim. Vav Ktsaves, and these are the Vav Ktsaves, Gashmim, Veshivsha Ktsaves Ruchim. They are the six corners of the world, which also are the six corners Beruchnis. The Hainu Pchinas Milo Mata Shish B'Chol Ha'olamis. That first of all, it's the Milo Mata of all the worlds, the Milo Adan Kesh Lamata in Tachlis, to the highest levels to the lowest levels. Ki Gavaya, Mal Gavaya. That whatever the world and the Nivraim understand, that's called Nikra Mata, the Gabi Elyon. That it does not understand and grasp the Nivraim, which are lower, does not grasp it, what's higher. And no thought can understand, and so too the four ruchis of the world. The level of chesed drei is on the right, shuhu darim, which is on the south, ugvura and gvura drei smela, which is the left, shuhu tzafin, which is north. And what happens? All these levels all come and are one with Hashem. So that's why we say echad, because we want to say that even there's a world, and even there's four corners of the world, and even there's dalek tzavis, etc., nevertheless, they are all one with Hashem. However, when it comes to the essence of Hashem, which He is really Yachid, it's very high and exalted over all the levels. It's higher than Gashmis and Ruchnis. Like it says, L'cha Hashem, we say to you, Hashem Hagdula V'Gevura is greatness and Gevura and strength. Pirush, what does that mean? Shibchinas Gdula Gevura, the levels of Gdula Gevura, B'Telim L'cha Yisbarach Arbatat Hashem. She'edin Nikraim B'Shem Gdula Gevura Klau, which are not called in the name of Gdula Gevura. Yichol B'Shamayim V'Aretz Pirush, what does that mean? Sha'kol B'Telim L'cha Yisbarach, that all the worlds are Batat Hashem. Well, in front of Hashem, darkness is like light, u'maylo mata shavin, and both Milo Mata are equal. When it comes to the essence of Hashem, Milo Mata are all the same, and there's no differentiation or change at all. And there's no idea of Milo Mata at all, or the level of Shemayim and Aretz at all. Not when it comes to the levels of Memali or Seviv. When it comes to the level of Atzmos, there's no such a thing as worlds at all. Let's do a little bit more. Like it says, that Hashem is exalted. His name is exalted alone, but His glory is on the heavens and the earth. What does that mean? Only His splendor. Only the ray of the light alone. And even this level, Eretz Kodm L'Shamayim, Eretz comes before Shamayim. As we explained in another place. That's why we say that Hashem is full. His honor is filled in the world. And what does the Malachim say? This level of pregnancy, in the days of Golos, that Hashem removed Himself higher and higher from this world. In regards to the level of Atzmus, this level of Yochid and Yuchid, which we explained, is not in the gather of worlds, and there's no revelation whatsoever in this world, like it says, only on that day, Mashiach comes. The Gemara asks, the Gemara in Psachim asks, is Hashem not one now? Because we don't see the revelation, the yichud of Hashem. It looks like the world is by itself. Even when we're in Golus, Hashem does not forsake us, and Hashem gives us the strength. Since we are the nation which is close to Hashem, we have the ability to bring down the yichud of Hashem down over here. That even though there's divisions and different sections in this world, nevertheless we have the ability to bring Hashem Echad, where not only do we have the ability to bring Hashem Echad in the world, but we have also the ability to bring Hashem Echad in our life, personal life, which the 6 Ktsavis, the 6 corners, refers to the 6 emotions that a Yid has, Ava v'Yida, love and fear, Shiyu b'izgalos libe, which will be revealed. Okay, tomorrow, Thursday, we'll start from V'zeu Shema Yisrael. Let's just do a recap. So we started off saying Ve'era al Avraham, al Yisrael v'Yaakov b'kel shakai, Yishmi Hashem le'nedaiti. So the Alter Rebbe says that Ve'era either means that I appeared or I will appear. So what does it mean that I will appear? So every Yid has the level of Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, which he got as an inheritance. When it comes to Reuven, Shimon, Levi, different levels of tzaddikim, not every Yid is zeicha to that. But Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, every single Yid is zeicha to this level. And he says, to understand all of this, so we first, to understand this, what does it mean, this revelation of Avos by every Yid, we first have to explain the idea of Galus. He says that Galus is compared to pregnancy, and Mashiach's revelation is compared to the Leda. So, and then also Gulas Mitzrayim is also compared to giving birth. However, the umbilical cord is not cut. What does that mean? And what is the idea of pregnancy? So he says that Reb Simlai says, what does it mean that when the child is in the in the womb of the mother, it has all the limbs and it has all the ivarim and everything, but it's not able to function? Only when the child actually emerges, his head does his functionalities start to work. So he says because when the child is in the womb, it gets its meichel from the umbilical cord. It doesn't get it from the mouth. And the issue with that is that if the food is not coming derech hapeh, then the food can't go to the mayach and the leiv. It can't give proper chayis. So too, when the Yidden are in Golus, our chayis we're getting is not in a direct chayis, which means we don't see the revelation of the Eibishter. And then he says that, brings the pasuk Hashem imanim yishig. Well, what does that mean? That the revelation that Hashem's Shechina departed away from this world, and basically we don't have a leiv and lamayach laman das Hashem and to love Hashem, and we don't really fear. Everything we're doing is all in a way of like mitzvahs anashim milumada, and that's the idea of giving birth in these galus of Eir Hashem, and all of this, these galus is tali in our avodah. And then he explains this is the idea of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad ve'ahavta. Why do we say Echad and not Yachid? Because we want to say that that even though there's a world, and there's Rakim, and there's Ksavis, and Vav Ksavis, which L'chayra show on Pirud, nevertheless, we're showing that Hashem is one with the worlds, and all the worlds are batel. All right, so that's basically where we got up till today. Okay, have a good day.
So you said Thursday, not Wednesday? You meant Wednesday.
So Wednesday we do a